So yeah, this is a doozy of a news story. I don't really know if I believe this rumor, but we're going to get into it. We're going to discuss it. I'm going to go through all the little tidbits of news and rumors that I got for you guys on this news story. But before we get into that, I want to put the plug up front. This is my mom. You're watching her right now, streaming Days Gone. I would love for you to give her a shout out, to give her some motivation, to say, hey, moms, I love you. All of her links are in the description below for her Twitter and Facebook and all those things. She's an amazing streamer. I love watching her stream, and I think you guys would as well. So that's what these videos are for. So definitely, please hit up moms on Facebook, Twitter. Tell her you love her, all those things. Let's get into the news story. So this was brought to my attention via Twitter, and their Twitter handle is @NextGenPlayer. According to their Twitter bio, they are a 11-year world traveling gaming industry veteran, game reviewer extraordinaire with 1,000 plus game reviews, 25 plus million impressions annually, maximum juicy. This is what it says. You can read it right there. More rumors that PlayStation Battle Royale 2 is in production, co-developed by Capcom, and it's a PS5 launch title. Wow. That's some huge news. Hunter links this article from segmentnext.com. The link's going to be in the description. Please go give them a click. So, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2 for PlayStation 5 in development by Sony and Capcom. Question? So this is based on a rumor, and the rumor was I've got the beginning of the rumor right here, and this is on 4chan. So we'll get into that a little bit. But it says a rumor has made its way to the internet stating that there's a reboot or sequel of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale being developed by Sony in coordination with Capcom, which more likely it would be developed by Capcom and published by Sony because, let's face it, why would Capcom be the publisher? And so the rumor is that it's PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. So if you weren't familiar with this game, this was a Super Smash-like clone that came from Sony in around 2000. Yeah, it says 2012 on PlayStation 3 and Vita. What was awesome back in the day is you could buy, I believe if you bought the PlayStation 3 version, you got the Vita version for free, which was awesome. It was in the same vein as Super Smash, but it obviously starred a lot of the Sony PlayStation mascots. You've got Drake, Kratos, Sweet Tooth, Sackboy, Parappa, obviously Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and then you've got some Tekken characters, guy from, I think is one of the Hellghast from Killzone, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Lots of PlayStation semi-quasi-exclusive characters. You know, the Big Daddy from BioShock, not really sure. That doesn't really fall under, like, you know, under exclusive characters from the PlayStation family. Oh yeah, this is the dude from Medieval, which we're seeing a new Medieval game this year, October 25th. But hey, if you can put Big Daddy in your game, I'm all for it. So this game came out in 2012. It says in this, warmly welcomed by public and critics. Its Metacritic falls at a 74 out of 100 on PS3 and 75 out of 100 on Vita. You can see a couple of the reviews here. EGM gave it a 7.5, Game Informer 7.5 out of 10, IGN an 8 out of 10, Games Radar looks like a 3.5 stars, GameSpot 6.5. G4 gave it a 4 out of 5, which again falls right in line, 8 out of 10. But so I wouldn't necessarily say that it was, according to this article, warmly welcomed by public and critics. I would say at the best it was, you know, it was an average to good reception by the public and critics. And even Shuhei Yoshida confirmed that over 1 million copies of the game had been sold by June 12th, 2013. So if the game came out November 20th, 2012, and so you got 8 months later, it only sold over 1 million copies. Not bad. He said that was good, but it wasn't enough to justify a sequel or developing further DLC for the game. If you're not going to get DLC for the game, that means they were not as thrilled with the reception of the game. I mean, you compare that to Super Smash Brothers, which comes out and just sells like gangbusters. It's like one of the top-selling games, and that was like within 2 months of its release. So, you know, obviously you can't compare the two because this was PlayStation's first foray into this type of game, and Nintendo has all but perfected that through the the recent and previous iterations of Smash. So, getting back to the article, I thought it was pretty interesting. It says the rumor first emerged when a presumed Capcom USA employee uploaded some confidential information on the net, and the internet did what it does best. Because, yeah, the supposed leak took over 4chan, which we'll get into in just a second. It says, according to the rumors, Sony would be developing the title so as to publish it for the launch in 2020 for PlayStation 5. See, I don't think that that's the case. Where does Capcom come into play for this if Sony is developing the title? I don't really get that. And supposedly this is going to be a PS5 launch title, which I think is really cool because, as we know, if you've been a gamer for any amount of time, whenever a new console launches, the launch software is not the best. You may get 1 to 2 titles at best that are actually really, really fantastic games. I mean, you saw with the Switch, they did something that most console launches do not do, but Nintendo's more known for it than Sony or Microsoft and then Sega back in the day, of launching with a title that, you know, is a 10 out of 10 and console selling title, like a Zelda Breath of the Wild. Most of the time you get things like a Killzone or maybe some third-party titles, maybe a smaller first-party title. Microsoft is actually launching the new Xbox with the next Halo game, which is a huge deal for them, and I think will actually help them just like Nintendo whenever they launched it with Zelda Breath of the Wild. But again, most of the time your console launch software lineup is not that strong. It usually takes about a year or two, developers and publishers getting into a rhythm and making fantastic games for the new console. I thought this was really interesting. It's saying that this game will not only be a launch title for PS5, but then it will be launched in 2021 on PC. And they're saying that this would be in line with Sean Layden's statements regarding how he wants Sony to publish their games on other platforms. However, according to this rumor, there won't be crossplay. See, this is where this article gets a little bit different from what the leak is saying. And I don't know if they just didn't read it properly, but this says they're questioning. If it follows the Super Smash Bros. Formula, it will have over-the-top animations that will presumably have cartoon-like graphics, and the gameplay will be made so that it can track both casual and esports players. Here's the likely roster of the game, but they put poster. I think the most notable here is Spider-Man. And of course, Aloy, which would be badass. That's another character that they just added. Days Gone, they just added Deacon St. John. So that's another character, and some of the other characters that are prominent throughout that game. Ellie with The Last of Us. Obviously, that's another character that wouldn't have been around in the first iteration of the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. So that's really cool. Spyro, that would be cool. I don't remember Spyro being in the first one. And then, yeah, of course, Ellie with The Last of Us, which is cool. So here's the leak. This is what the actual leak says. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but this person says, I'm from Capcom, and the game started to be localizing a month ago. It's a 3D brawler action arena game with single-player and multiplayer modes, and the game is designed to be a games-as-a-service title. It's a project that had been around from the 2013 to 2016 era, so basically the life cycle of the PS4. It looks like, according to this person from Capcom, the game was scrapped maybe in development, and now they're reworking some of the development that they had previously done in this game. He goes on to say that this is going to be partnered with Capcom to make this title a huge hit and live title to be popular to the end of the PS5. And this person from Capcom says that it plays like Dissidia mixed with Power Stone. Not a 2D game, it's a fully realized 3D game. They don't want to be direct Smash Brothers clone, and PlayStation characters fit more to 3D game space. So, according to this person, Sony's going to be putting this out there in the esports world. They want this to be a title that people play for years. The games as a service type title. And he says the gameplay is intended to be very casual players can come play it, but it's like one of those games. It's like easy to pick up, very difficult to master. Think of that style of gameplay. So it says the game features target lock button, easy super moves with old God of War games. The UI and the game HUD are very easy to track for casual players. No damage numbers or anything. You can see health bar of each player on top of their heads feels like Fortnite. So it says the graphics are a mix of cel shaded with realism for characters. Environments are very cartoonish looking, Border Knights or Fortnite look to the game. So if you're not familiar, this is what the game looked like back in the day. This is the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale for PS3. So there you have it. That's the rumor that's being spread out there amongst Reset Era, 4chan, all those different types of gaming sites. What does this mean? Is this actually happening? That's a tough one. I'm gonna say if there was money to be made from this, that there's no doubt in my mind that Sony would want to do it. So I'll just put that out there right now. The first game did, only sold over, let's just say maybe its life cycle sold 1.5 million to 2 million copies over its entire life cycle. That's not bad, but that's, again, no Smash Bros. Numbers. So Sony, they definitely need to invest in more game properties, in my opinion. They absolutely crush it when it comes to the third-person action-adventure games. No other developer, no other publisher, Microsoft, Nintendo, they can't hold a candle to the likes of what Sony puts out. I mean, you just go really quickly and easily. Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and I will say I will put Days Gone in there. I enjoyed Days Gone. It didn't get the critical acclaim that those other titles did, but I still think that it's a solid addition and a solid start to another really great third-person action adventure franchise for Sony. So they kill it in that arena. They're number one. But then you look at other arenas, first-person shooters, games like Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, titles that would be more family-friendly or more party game-centric. They're severely lacking. They rely upon third-party publishers and developers to fill that void for its console software lineup. So I certainly think that I would be more inclined to enjoy a first-person shooter to come back to the PlayStation, a la Killzone, something like that. That if Sony really invested in an awesome first-person shooter franchise, I would like to see that come back. I'm not a huge Smash player, so this doesn't really appeal to me, but I know that Smash is obviously a worldwide success. It's a phenomenon. People love it. So I think that it could be successful. And not to mention the fact that, yes, PlayStation, they have a wealth of characters that I believe that Microsoft does not. Nintendo has it, obviously, because we see it via Smash and the characters that they're introducing from other franchises that are non-Nintendo related. Capcom putting characters out, Konami putting characters out, and so on and so forth. But I do think that PlayStation has a really excellent lineup of interesting characters that they could put in a Smash-like game. And if it's not Smash-like they're saying like Power Stone or something like that, I think it would be very interesting. That was funny. That was Andrew Goldfarb from 2012. Wow. That dude's been around in the industry for a long, long time. For me, I would put this at about the likelihood of it happening at 15 to 25%. I could see Sony doing something like this. I don't see Capcom being involved in this. Capcom is on a run of just putting out hit after hit, and I don't see this fitting into their plans per se. So I don't see that happening. It would definitely be Sony publishing and developing it on its own. I don't see where Capcom would come into play in this at all. Could be wrong, but I just don't see it happening. And again, I would rather see an awesome first-person shooter franchise being developed for Sony coming out of their first-party studios. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that we're going to get a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2? I also would say they need to change the name if it's going to be Battle Royale, because that means a totally different thing at this point. Maybe it's just PlayStation All-Stars Brawl or something like that, as opposed to Battle Royale. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment box down below. And again, I would greatly appreciate it if you went up and chatted with my mom on her social channels and let her know that she's awesome and that she should get back to streaming.